On a distant, forgotten planet at the edge of the galaxy, Jace Ward landed his old digging shuttle on a dusty, stormy surface. The planet, called Zenthis 9, was known for its violent red storms and swirling sands that could cut like knives. It was a place long abandoned, left behind after the fall of the mighty Lorthak Empire, a once powerful alien race destroyed in a terrible war called the Great Galactic Purge. Many stories had spread across space about treasures buried beneath Zenthis 9's surface, ancient machines, powerful weapons, and gold from a lost time. But Jace wasn't interested in gold or treasure for wealth. What he sought was something far more valuable. A secret weapon, a piece of technology called the Stellar Keys, rumored to unlock hidden power that could help humanity in its desperate fight against the Krell. The Krell were a brutal alien race pushing humanity back, destroying colonies one after another. Earth was losing the war, and Jace believed this forgotten world held the key to turning the tide. He was the last hope, and no one else knew he was here. Jace spent hours working his drill, breaking through layers of rock and sand near a strange hill that didn't match the planet's usual shape. Suddenly, his drill hit something hard, but it wasn't stone or metal like he expected. Curious, he cleared away the dirt and dust, and uncovered a smooth, black and silver capsule. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, covered in glowing symbols that pulsed faintly with light. He carefully opened the capsule, and inside was a girl, but not a normal human girl. She looked alien. Her skin shimmered softly like crystal, and her hair glowed like liquid light. Thin wires connected her to the machine inside the pod, and a single pulsing light marked her heartbeat. When she suddenly opened her eyes, her voice filled the silent desert with a sharp scream, startling Jace and echoing in the empty air. The girl was confused and frightened, her eyes wild as she took in the strange new world. Jace raised his hand slowly, trying to calm her. He told her he was human and meant no harm. She looked around and realized she was far from her home, speaking in perfect Earth language despite her alien appearance. She explained that she was Ariana Voss, a leader of the Lorthak resistance, and that she had been buried alive by the Krell, the very enemies now hunting her. The Krell had feared her power, and because they could not kill her, they erased her existence, hiding her away in this desolate place. Now that Jace had found her, the galaxy's fate was about to change again. Before Jace could ask more questions, the sky exploded with fire as Krell dropships appeared overhead. The Krell were coming to capture or kill Ariana, and anyone who helped her. Jace and Ariana ran to his shuttle, dodging blasts and explosions as they fought their way through the sandstorm. As the Krell fired relentlessly, Ariana's mysterious powers activated, making the shuttle faster and stronger than Jace ever thought possible. She told him that she was the last hope, the weapon the Krell had tried to hide, and that by waking her, Jace had given humanity a second chance to fight back. With the Krell closing in, Jace took control of the shuttle and blasted off from the stormy surface, leaving destruction behind. As they escaped, Ariana looked out at the dark stars ahead and promised that together they would change the course of the war. In that moment, a buried alien girl and a desperate human treasure hunter became unlikely allies, ready to face overwhelming odds in a battle that would decide the future of the galaxy. After the escape from the stormy surface of Zenthis 9, Jace and Ariana found a brief moment of calm inside the shuttle. The girl, still shaken and confused, tried to make sense of where she was and how much time had passed since she was buried underground. Jace watched her carefully, understanding that she was no ordinary alien. Her glowing skin and strange powers made her both beautiful and dangerous. She slowly began to tell her story, speaking in calm but firm words. Ariana explained that she was once a powerful leader of the Lorthak people, a proud and fierce race that had fought for freedom against the cruel Krell Empire. The Krell were a terrifying enemy who ruled through fear and destruction, crushing anyone who dared to resist. Ariana had led the resistance, fighting to save her people, but the Krell could not defeat her in battle. Instead, they captured her and buried her alive in the secret pod to erase her from history, hoping that no one would ever find her. Now, after what felt like centuries, she had awakened, and the Krell were hunting her once more. Jace realized the danger was far from over. The Krell dropships were still in the skies above, closing in quickly, ready to capture or destroy them. There was no time to lose. They needed to find a place where they could regroup and plan their next move. Jace flew the shuttle through dangerous asteroid fields, dodging enemy fire, until they reached a hidden base on the edge of human space. The base was a rough place, full of ex-soldiers, rebels, and rogue AIs who had been fighting small battles against the Krell. These people didn't trust easily, especially not a glowing alien girl who arrived with no warning. Captain Marcus, a gruff and skeptical veteran, questioned Ariana's loyalty and her true intentions. But Jace stood by her, believing that Ariana was more than just an alien. She was the key to turning the war around. Ariana connected to the base's computer systems, using her strange powers to access information no human could reach. She discovered the location of hidden war factories built by her people before the Purge, places filled with advanced weapons and warships that had been sleeping, waiting for someone to awaken them. These weapons could change the balance of power in the galaxy. But before they could reach these factories and reclaim the lost strength of the Lorthak, they had to get past the Krell's blockade. The Krell fleet was massive, blocking the stars like a dark wall, with dozens of warships patrolling and hunting any ships trying to pass. Jace and his small group decided on a bold plan: to attack the Krell command ship directly and destroy its control center. Without the command ship, the rest of the Krell fleet would lose direction and fall into chaos. The battle was fierce and brutal. Human ships darted through space, weaving between asteroid belts and dodging deadly lasers. Krell cruisers moved with terrifying speed and precision, and their drones attacked like swarms of angry insects. Jace flew his shuttle through a hailstorm of fire and explosions, trusting Ariana's power to protect them and disable enemy defenses. When they finally reached the Krell command ship, they stormed its halls, fighting past guards and security systems. Inside the ship's heart, Jace faced the ultimate enemy, a Krell warbringer, a monstrous soldier clad in thick armor and filled with rage. The warbringer smashed through walls and attacked without mercy, forcing Jace and Ariana into a deadly fight. Ariana stepped forward, drawing on her ancient powers. Light flowed from her body, cutting through metal and dark energy. The warbringer struck her down, but not before she gave Jace a final gift, a secret code that could awaken the lost Lorthak fleet scattered across the galaxy. Jace barely escaped the collapsing command ship, wounded, but determined. Ariana's sacrifice was not in vain. With the code in his hands, Jace knew that the next step in their fight was to unlock the hidden power of the Lorthak war machines. The battle for the galaxy was far from over, and humanity, with Ariana's legacy behind them, was about to take the fight to the Krell like never before. The destruction of the Krell command ship sent shockwaves through the enemy fleet, leaving them confused and disorganized, but the danger was far from over. Jace, still wounded from the fierce battle, limped back to the hidden human base, clutching the secret code that Ariana had given him before she was struck down. The loss of Ariana weighed heavily on his heart. Her bright light and strength had been the spark of hope humanity needed. But now, with her sacrifice fueling his determination, Jace knew he had to keep fighting. The code was their only chance to awaken the ancient Lorthak war machines hidden deep within the galaxy. Machines that could turn the tide of the war and push the Krell back once and for all. With the Krell fleet on high alert, time was running out. Jace gathered a small group of skilled pilots and engineers, men and women who had lost everything to the Krell and were ready to risk their lives for a chance at victory. Together, they set course for the first of the lost Lorthak war factories, a massive space station, buried inside a forgotten asteroid field, shielded by ancient technology that only Ariana's code could unlock. The journey was perilous. Krell patrols hunted them relentlessly through the dark, twisting paths between asteroids. The human crew's nerves were tested with every narrow escape from plasma blasts and missile barrages. But Jace's leadership, combined with his fierce resolve, inspired the team to push forward. When they finally reached the war factory, the station was like a ghost from another age. Massive, silent, and covered in alien markings that glowed faintly in the dark. Inside, the factory was filled with rows of dormant warships and weapons, waiting patiently for the command to wake. Using the code, Jace and his team worked quickly to reactivate the station's systems. The hum of power returning filled the air as ancient machines stirred from their slumber. The warships powered up, their weapons lighting up like stars ready for battle. But reactivating the station triggered an alarm. The Krell had detected their presence and were moving in fast to crush this rising threat before it could grow. As the Krell fleet closed in, Jace's team prepared for an intense fight. Human warships, armed with the Lorthak technology, emerged from the station's hangars. These ships were unlike any the Krell had faced before. Faster, stronger, and armed with weapons that could punch through the toughest armor. Jace led the charge, flying his ship alongside the newly awakened fleet, pushing into the enemy lines with furious speed and precision. The battle erupted across the asteroid field, with explosions lighting up the darkness like distant stars, going supernova. Laser blasts, missile strikes, and the roar of engines filled the void as the humans fought with everything they had. In the thick of the fight, Jace faced off against a massive Krell dreadnought, a warship the size of a small moon, bristling with weapons and shields. The dreadnought's firepower threatened to tear the human fleet apart, and many of Jace's comrades were lost under its relentless assault. But Jace refused to give up. He maneuvered his ship with skill and bravery, dodging deadly blasts and slipping inside the dreadnought's shield to strike at its core. Using a combination of Ariana's ancient weapons and human cunning, he planted a powerful charge that exploded with a brilliant flash, crippling the dreadnought and sending it spiraling into the asteroid field. With the dreadnought destroyed, the Krell fleet began to falter. The human warships pressed their advantage, breaking the enemy's formation and forcing them into retreat. The victory was costly. Many brave souls had fallen, and the loss of Ariana still haunted Jace, but it marked a turning point in the war. The ancient Lorthak machines, once buried and forgotten, were now humanity's greatest weapon. Jace and his crew knew that this was only the beginning. The Krell would not give up easily, and the fight for the galaxy's future would grow even fiercer. As the battered fleet regrouped near the war factory, Jace stared out at the stars, feeling both grief and hope. Ariana's sacrifice had unlocked a new path, and humanity's strength and courage were shining brighter than ever. The war was far from over, but for the first time in a long time, the tide was turning. Together, humans and the legacy of the Lorthak would stand against the darkness, ready to face whatever came next. The victory at the war factory was just the beginning of a long, dangerous fight. With the ancient Lorthak fleet now partially awakened and fighting alongside human ships, the Krell were desperate to crush this new threat. They launched a massive counterattack, sending their deadliest forces to the front lines. Jace, now a respected leader among the surviving pilots and soldiers, knew that the final battle would decide the fate of the galaxy. The Krell had one last weapon, a colossal superweapon hidden inside a dead star, capable of wiping out entire fleets with a single blast. If they activated it, humanity's hope would be lost forever. Jace and the remaining fleet raced through dangerous space, heading toward the dead star where the Krell superweapon waited. The journey was tense, every moment filled with the risk of ambush. The Krell fleet shadowed them, attacking with waves of fighters and massive cruisers. Explosions lit up the darkness as ships from both sides crashed and burned. Jace's shuttle wove through the chaos, dodging blasts and guiding the human Lorthak alliance with skill and courage. Ariana's memory was always with him, her sacrifice a powerful reminder that they were fighting for something greater than themselves. As they approached the dead star, the Krell superweapon loomed, a monstrous machine glowing with deadly energy. It was surrounded by a thick fleet of Krell warships, ready to defend it to the last breath. Jace and his allies prepared for the fiercest battle yet. The humans and the ancient warships moved as one, attacking with everything they had. Laser beams cut through space, missiles streaked toward targets, and powerful energy shields shimmered under fire. The fight was brutal and desperate, with heavy losses on both sides. But Jace's determination and the combined might of humanity and the Lorthak fleet pushed the Krell back step by step. In the heart of the battle, Jace led a daring mission to board the Krell superweapon. With a small team of elite fighters, he slipped past enemy defenses and landed inside the glowing core. The superweapon's control room was filled with strange alien machines and deadly traps, but Jace pressed forward, fighting Krell guards and disabling security systems. The tension was unbearable. If the weapon activated, their entire fleet would be destroyed. Using every skill he had, Jace planted explosives and prepared to destroy the machine from within. Just as the countdown began, a massive Krell warlord appeared, blocking their path. The creature was larger and more terrifying than any Jace had faced before, wielding energy blades that burned with intense heat. The fight was fierce and brutal, pushing Jace to his limits, but with quick thinking and sheer willpower, he managed to outsmart the warlord, using the environment and his weapons to defeat the enemy. The countdown reached 0. Just as Jace escaped the superweapon's core, the explosives detonated, tearing the machine apart in a brilliant explosion that lit up the star's dying surface. With the superweapon destroyed, the Krell fleet began to collapse. Without their ultimate weapon, their forces lost strength and coordination. Human and Lorthak ships pushed forward, driving the enemy back into the far reaches of space. The war that had seemed endless was finally turning in humanity's favor. Jace and his allies returned to Earth as heroes, but the cost was high. Many lives were lost, including Ariana's, whose legacy had sparked a new hope for the galaxy. As Jace stood on Earth's surface, watching the stars, he felt the weight of the battle, but also the promise of a new future. Humanity had faced impossible odds, fought with courage and heart, and had won. The buried alien girl had been the key to their victory, and her spirit would live on in every starship and every brave soul ready to protect their home. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but with strength and unity, humans would face whatever came next. Not as victims, but as warriors and protectors of a bright tomorrow.